Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here to break down the Thursday night showdown slate between Tennessee and Jacksonville. One quick thing, if you guys notice anything different, you do see my face in these videos. If you've been watching my streams, obviously I've been recording or streaming with the face cam on. Haven't been doing it for the videos, but going to start doing it from here on out. So you'll be seeing my face now in all these videos. A couple other things too. I'm working on an intro as well as a banner for my videos. So just a few little things, minor details to try and improve the channel here. But yeah, other than that, let's just jump right into this. So we got Tennessee and Jacksonville, and we got an over/under of 40 with a 1.5 point spread. So a pretty ugly game. Again, a lot of these primetime games, Monday, Sunday night, as well as even the Thursday nights, have been really ugly. So maybe because this game's such a low over/under that it's going to turn to a shootout. Who knows? Because a lot of the high over/under games have just turned out to be really ugly primetime games. But hopefully this one is better. I'm not holding my breath though. Again, with an over/under of 40. But okay, let's look at some snap counts real quick before I get into the pricing. So let's look at Jacksonville real quick. One thing to note is Leonard Fournette basically playing on almost every single down. Like to see that. So Fournette, you can definitely target him with confidence on this slate. The receivers, they run 3 wide receiver sets most of the time here with DD at 87, Chris Conley at 85, DJ Chark at 82. And then as far as the tight ends, O'Shaughnessy seeing a little bit more work than Jeff Swarm, but both are getting over 50% of the snaps. Then if you look at Tennessee, little tougher to decipher here. Now, Derrick Henry and Dan Lewis, about 50-50 split. Henry's obviously the workhorse, first and second down back, and then Dan Lewis is the third down back. As far as receivers go, Corey Davis is the number one receiver, getting about 80% of the snaps. And then it's kind of a mix from there. Tajay Sharp about 50, Adam Humphries got about 50, AJ Brown about 50. So nothing too appealing besides Corey Davis with snap counts at least. And then, snap counts for the tight ends. I'm not too surprised by this. I mean, Delaney Walker is getting up there in age, so don't expect him to play every down. But he's a great, pass-catching tight end, and he's Mariota's safety blanket. Juno Smith there at 48% as well, something to note. Same with Pruitt there at 47%. The Tennessee kind of likes running 2 tight end sets. But yeah, back to the pricing. So, well, I guess we'll start at the top here with Derrick Henry at 10.6. I don't mind him here. If I was picking between the 2 top backs, though, with Henry and Fournette, I think I'm going to lean towards Fournette just because, again, Fournette's basically playing in almost every single down. Fournette's more involved in the passing game. Derrick Henry, yeah, he'll catch a ball or two, but really not the best PPR back. That's what they have Dion Lewis for. And again, about 50% of the snaps. So, I don't mind Derrick Henry, but again, if I'm going to pick between the 2, I'm definitely going to lean towards Fournette there. I think Fournette's going to be more popular, but I'm definitely leaning towards Fournette. As far as quarterbacks, Mariota, Minshew, a really low over/under game. I think you definitely could fade both quarterbacks. I usually like playing one in almost every line or in most of my showdown lineups, so I would try to get probably one in there. I think it could work out for using the no quarterback line in such a low over/under, but I think the safest option is definitely going one quarterback for your lineups. So we got Mariota, obviously more expensive here at 10K. And then you got Minshew right below him there at 9.2. I think Minshew's actually a pretty solid quarterback, but I'm going to lean towards Mariota here just because of the rushing upside. Now he's not Lamar Jackson, he's not Kyler Murray, he's not Josh Allen, who are really good rushers. Mariota will rush here and there, so he does have that upside, but not as much as some of the top tier rushing quarterbacks in the NFL. But I do like that he has that rushing upside in him. So if I'm picking between the 2, I think I'm going to lean towards Mariota as far as the quarterbacks. So Minshew has looked really solid here in the first couple of games. I think he's a pretty solid quarterback too. So you can't go wrong there with Minshew. As far as playing both quarterbacks in your lineup, I think it's doable. But it's such a low over/under game. It's tough. I don't think there's a great chance that both quarterbacks get you there. So for me right now, I'm leaning towards one quarterback in my lineup. But we'll see how roster construction goes. Delaney Walker at 8.2. Tennessee, and I know Corey Davis is kind of the de facto number 1, but not the best, number 1 receiver to have. Delaney Walker, I've said it a few times again, he's a safety blanket. I know he's getting up there in age, but he's still a solid tight end, so I don't mind him there at 8.2. The Jacksonville receivers, I definitely prefer over the Tennessee receivers just because the snap counts. With Chark, Westbrook, and Chris Conley receiving all over 80% of the snaps, so that's really good. One thing to note is Marquise Lee didn't play at all last game. He saw 21% the first game. I think he was injured. That's why. So this could be a situation to monitor. He might take some snaps away from uh, probably DJ Chark or Chris Conley a bit. So that is a situation we got to monitor. Right now, I can't go Marquise Lee there. Just not seeing enough snaps. But yeah, Chark, Westbrook, Conley, all three, I think are fine. I think Chark's gonna be the most popular just because he's done the best so far, and he does have some upside. But if I'm picking between the three, I think I'm gonna lean towards DD Westbrook. I like the buy low here. I know he had a bad week 2, but I just like the upside a lot in DD. Playing in the slot there. So yeah, if I'm picking between the three, I think I'm going to lean towards DD because I think he's going to be the lowest owned, but still has some upside. But you really can't go wrong with any of the three there. Again, playing all three, playing over 80% of snaps. Okay, let's scroll down here. So then we get Corey Davis at 6K. I think it'd probably be my favorite Tennessee receivers just because he's out there for about 80% of the snaps. He's like their number one. I know the matchup not the best, but he does have some big play upside. So I think Corey Davis would probably be my favorite Tennessee receiver. AJ Brown as well as AJ Brown, Humphreys, and Tajay Sharp all receiving about 50% of the snaps. AJ Brown's the highest price at 5.6K. He has flashed some upside though. I don't mind him. And then Adam Humphreys, a guy that paid a lot for in the offseason. Haven't used him that much, so I kind of like the buy low in Adam Humphreys. Again, he's a good PPR receiver, but they haven't really used him that much in the first couple of games. So I do kind of like buying low on him. And then last receiver was Tajay Sharp, who I believe is actually priced really cheap. Where is Tajay Sharp? At 800. So if you really need a cheap guy, you can look at Tajay Sharp here, a guy who is played about 50% of the snaps the first couple of weeks. So I don't mind that. Again, it's really ugly, this slate, so don't go crazy on these Showdown slates, guys, especially this one. Just a really, really ugly slate. Okay, so then let's get to the defenses. So this is a slate where I consider playing one, possibly even two defenses. I think it's it's going to be a really slow, grinded out game. Both offenses not the best, so I think one of these defenses is for sure in play, and I think it's even viable to play both if you really want to get risky. Now, as far as which one do I prefer between the Jags and the Titans, I don't have a strong preference. Titans are priced a little higher, but they are facing the backup in Minshew, but Minshew has looked pretty solid. So I guess if you're really forcing me to pick, I guess the Titans are 5.2, the Jags are 3.8. So it is a $1,400 discount. So okay, I'm going to lean towards the Jags for sure here. Sorry, I read that wrong. Obviously they got lit up by Kansas City, but Kansas City is going to light up basically every single team. I like the Jags here. I'll take the discount. So if I'm picking between the two, I think I'm going to lean towards the Jags, but both defenses definitely viable. Dion Lewis, I think it's going to go low owned, but he's a guy that's been playing at almost 50% of the snaps. He's a PPR back. I know he hasn't done much the first couple of weeks, but you could always buy low here at 4.2K. I think it's going to be definitely lower owned just because his level of production, he hasn't really done much. As far as the kickers, you can go either kicker. Again, I would, for GPPs, you could play one kicker in your lineup. I wouldn't play both. For cash games, I think it's viable to play both if you really want to. But yeah, Humphreys, I said, I do like the buy low there. The two Jags tight ends with O'Shaughnessy and Swarm, I don't mind. Both have gotten targeted, 4 or 5? You got 4 targets and 5 targets, and then Swarm got 4 and 4. So, both cheap options. Don't have a lot of upside, but if you need a salary relief guy, I don't mind either of those tight ends. And that's basically it. I would have interest in Armstead if he was getting more snaps, but he literally got no snaps there in week 2, so I can't do it. And yeah, that's it for all the player rundown. Now, as far as captains go, I think people are going to go with either of the back as it's probably going to be the most popular between Derrick Henry and Fournette. Now, I'm leaning towards Fournette here. I'd go with him as my captain. I just think he has more upside. He's a better PPR back. They use him more. He's playing almost every single down. So I think I would lean towards Fournette. But if you really like Derrick Henry, I'm not going to talk you off him. And then as far as quarterbacks go, again, I think I'm going to lean towards Mariota, but I don't mind either. If you're playing a quarterback, definitely pair him with, a couple receivers. So if I'm going Fournette and Mariota, I definitely don't want to pair Mariota with like Delaney Walker and Corey Davis. So definitely get some correlation in your lineup. I wouldn't recommend playing a naked quarterback, especially on showdown slates. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, if you're new to the channel, I would really appreciate it if you would like this video and subscribe if you haven't. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below. It's also really important to follow me on Twitter. That will be in the description below. I will also be live streaming probably about 30 minutes before lock tomorrow. So it's twitch.tv/DK_DFS. Going over any late news that we get and answering any questions you guys have. So would appreciate if you guys come check out the stream. And I'll be back for another video. I'm going to have a value play video up on my channel tomorrow. So going over some of the top value plays I like for week 3. So I will see you guys then.